Alright guys, welcome to the video. I'm your review guide and today we're going to be taking a look at the Redragon K552. Now if you're thinking about picking one of these bad boys up, I put Amazon links down below in the description. Alright, so in front of me I have the Redragon K552 full RGB version. You can pick one of these up on Amazon for only 40 bucks, guys. So if it's a good keyboard, that is a big steal. So the Redragon K552 is a TKL keyboard, so really all you're missing for it to be a full size is that number pad right there. But this is a pretty good looking keyboard, just from first impressions. Now, build quality, top plate. That is the sound of metal, you guys. So the metal plate down here for only 40 bucks, guys. Nice solid metal plate on the top. Definitely helps making this keyboard feel a little bit more heavy, a little more high quality just for 40 bucks, guys. Getting off to a pretty good start. But flipping it over to the back, let's see what else we have going on back here. Now, it is a plastic case. Pretty hollow feeling, but that is to be expected for a budget $40 keyboard. Honestly, doesn't sound too bad. If you wanted to mod this, all you have to do is take the case out, put a little foam on there. This would be a really good beginner modding keyboard, especially if you don't have a lot of money to spend. Now, flip up risers. They definitely take a good amount of force to put them up and down, which is a good sign. They're not gonna wear out and flop all around while you're carrying this keyboard around. So they are coated with rubber down here. This will help it to not slide around on the desk. Pretty solid on the desk, as well as it'll help not scratch your desk if it does happen to move. So pretty solid flip up risers for a $40 keyboard. A lot better than some other expensive keyboards that I've seen where it's just a floppy flip up riser. So really nice to see with the build quality. Also, there are some texturized rubber pads down here on both sides. Pretty good build quality. You got a little bit of an angle right there. Obviously the flip up riser is going to create more of an angle, but for the angle of typing, again, very solid with the rubber pads down here and the rubber pads up here. It's got a pretty good angle when typing. So overall, for a $40 keyboard, way more solid than I was expecting it to feel. Very impressed so far with the Redragon K552. Let's now move into the switches. So, as you guys can hear, this is a clicky blue switch. Let's take this keycap off and get a better look. So this is a clicky outemu blue switch, a very budget-friendly switch, and it is what I would expect for Redragon to put in the budget entry-level keyboard. Now, switches are all about personal preference, guys. So if you like that clicky blue switch, these definitely have them. They are quite loud, but a lot of beginners like them. They're not my cup of tea, but if you like them, then go for it. But a cool thing about this keyboard is that these are hot swappable with other outemu switches. So if you do want to mod this board and put maybe a red switch in here or a brown switch in here that are outemus, because it says only hot swappable with other outemu switches, you can mod this and put a different color outemu switch in there. If you want some linears, go with the outemu reds. If you want a little bit more resistance when you type, then go with the outemu browns. Now, another cool thing that not a lot of people know about beginner mechanical keyboards is that if your keyboard has outemu switches, which the Redragon K552 does, it is also compatible with Akko CS Switches, which are a way more high quality switch than this outemu clicky blue switch. Way more smooth feeling. These have quite a bit of a scratchiness to them. But again, beginner switch, so I'm not expecting much out of it. But if you want to mod this and make it a more high quality board, you can put Akko CS Switches in here. I will have those linked down below if you guys want to go check those out. If you are looking for a beginner mechanical keyboard to mod, definitely would recommend this keyboard so far. We got the switch and the keycap back on, but let's give you guys a little bit of a sound test. Blue switches are very clicky and loud, but a good thing about this keyboard is that when you grow out of these blue switches and you want to change up a little bit, you can get different color outemu switches because it is hot swappable, or you can upgrade and go with those Akko CS switches. But let's pull this space bar off and get into these stabilizers. All right, so we got stabilizer off, and honestly guys, they are rattly, but for an entry-level keyboard, these aren't as rattly as I would expect them to be. So if you only have 40 bucks to spend, this is looking like a great keyboard to invest your money in if you want to get into mechanical keyboards and potentially mod them in the future. So they are quite rattly, but again, for a $40 board, they are not as rattly as I was expecting. But now let's talk about RGB. So this does have a pretty nice RGB. As you guys can see, it's pretty even throughout the board, and it creates a nice ambient light. So this is going to be very easy to see in the dark, as well as creating a nice even glow during the day. Now, this is the full RGB version of the K552, so go over to your keys over here. You can function through all the different lighting modes. There are quite a bit to choose from, and overall, they look pretty nice. They fit the board well, and it's really easy to control these functions for the different lighting modes. Now, talking about the evenness of the RGB, moving into keycaps, these are just simple ABS keycaps. They're gonna get that shiny effect after a year or so of use. That's inevitable, but that's just cosmetic. If you don't want them to get that shiny effect, or they're starting to, you can just go on Amazon, pick up a new set of ABS, or if you never want the shiny effect to happen again, you can go and pick up some PBT keycaps. All you need to make sure is that the back has a cross in it, and that is going to fit your switch. I don't really like the print on top of these switches. Print on top isn't really my favorite, and a lot of these keys have them. They give a little bit of extra grip on the keyboard, so I guess that's nice. But a good thing about these keys, as you guys can see, is that they have a really even glow to them. There is no bleeding through the rest of the keycap of the RGB. This is black where it's supposed to be black, and the cutout of the letters shine all the way through. There are not any noticeable dark spots on these keycaps. So for ABS keycaps, they look pretty dang good. But now let's flip this up and talk about connectivity. So as you guys can see, this is an attached USB cable. So make sure you don't bend it side to side, because that will decrease the longevity of this board. Overall, pretty thick and weighty cable, so I think it's also going to last you a pretty long time. They took the time to make sure that this was going to last you the full amount of time that you have it, or until you want to mod it. So that is all there is to the Redragon K552, guys. Really outstanding budget mechanical keyboard, especially if it's your first keyboard. You don't have a lot of money to spend, and you're going to be planning on modding this in the future to fit your interest. This is the keyboard that I would recommend to you guys. It has a nice solid metal plate right there, a slightly textured plastic case in the back that feels solid, rubber coated flip up risers, textured rubber in the back. They have clicky loud blue outemu switches, but again, hot swappable, so you can switch these out for other budget outemu switches, or go with the Akko CS switches. It has a plethora of different RGB lighting modes, as well as the ABS keycaps are pretty dang good, especially, guys, I must stress, the price point of $40 for the Redragon K552. So again, if you guys are looking to get into mechanical keyboards and you're on a budget, the Redragon K552 is probably the best keyboard you guys can pick up for the money. Alright guys, so that was my full review of the Redragon K552 RGB version. But again, if you guys do want to go pick up one of these K552s, I put Amazon links down below in the description. Really hope this video helped you guys out. If it did, it'd be awesome if you could hit that like button or that subscribe button. But I was your keyboard review guide, and I'll see you in the next video.